What's up, guys? We're back here with Sideline Scoop. It's Bert. I'm here with Matt AZ and Jeff Cook. What's up, guys?
What's going on, man? Hype for episode 2. Let's get this thing on the road.
How we doing, boys?
Doing good, doing good. Anything good happen this week?
Some injuries, little random retirement. Some people getting released, some people getting traded. So we'll recap a little bit of everything.
Awesome. What about you, Jeff?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I got nothing for you right
good?
now.
Did you eat good tonight?
I ate all right.
Always, right?
Well, you got to eat.
All right. Well, we're going to jump into some headlines that happened over the week. We had a big retirement. Andrew Luck dropped the bomb last weekend, and he retired. What do you think about that?
Obviously with his body and everything, I can't really blame him. But I'm here to talk about the fantasy implications it's going to have on the rest of the guys on the Colts. So starting off, obviously the main guy there is T.Y. Hilton. I see a slight decline in his value after this injury. He played 14 games last year with Andrew Luck. He had 1,270 yards. Year before that, he played all 16 games with Brissett, who is now the starter, obviously. He put up 966. So, I mean, played in 2 more games, and he amounted 300 fewer yards with Brissett. So that's one thing to not really look forward to. There are some young guys there like Paris Campbell in the slot that people are high on as a rookie. That value obviously goes on a little bit. And Marlon Mack, their number 1 running back, I think he'll have a harder time, running the ball efficiently with not a good passing game, kind of to balance it out.
Yeah, but do you think with Mack probably getting more touches Luck's dropping back, throwing 40 times?
Yeah, I think with Luck out, Mack's definitely get more touches. He might get in some dumps from the backfield too. So I feel like his value might still be holding strong.
Yeah, I agree with that. I got a little sleeper picks in my notes that I keep adding guys in. Paris Campbell was one of the guys.
Yeah.
A lot of people are high on him, but I'm not taking him anymore
without Luck.
Hilton, I saw, he said he's going to go off for Luck this year.
That is one thing that I am skeptical about because, he put up that post that he's his brother. He loves him. This is, one of the harder things he's ever been through. So, he could always go off, but just basing off, I'm playing the numbers.
Yeah, how well is he going to play with Brissett?
He showed it.
It depends if he has some kind of chemistry. Depends if he has the chemistry he had with Luck.
I think the big thing is Brissett played that full season, so he's got a little bit of experience on his belt. So he's not.
Yeah.
It's not his first season. He's had a full season, so I think that's a bright side that he's had a little bit of time. So hopefully he could take that next step this year to where he could be maybe the franchise quarterback there for a little while.
And he's got a hose.
Yeah.
I feel like he could catch Hilton deep downfield a lot.
Yeah.
If Hilton can break free, so.
Another thing I saw was after this retirement coming out, streaming defenses that play in that division, the AFC South. You're playing Brissett twice a year. He had 18 turnovers 2 years ago between picks and fumbles. You got Tennessee's offense there who isn't high-powered, I would say, and even the Jaguars with Foles. We don't really know what we're getting from him yet. And Fournette obviously has been shaky the last 2 years, so you could see a lot of value, drafting defenses. The Jaguars obviously being the first off, and then I say Houston and Tennessee a close second behind them.
Texans and Titans always have it,
Yeah, and then Jaguars are the Jaguars, obviously.
Oh,
so
of course.
I'd keep an eye on all 3 of those defenses in that division.
That would be cool. Let's see. With Gronk, he came out right after Luck and was just saying how good he felt in the past few weeks, months, after not even being in football. You think this will have a trickle-down effect in the NFL?
Well, I looked on, Instagram they had a post after Luck retired of the young people who stepped away, and the list was pretty good guys. I forgot other than.
We got Calvin Johnson, one of them.
Barry Sanders was 29 or 30.
Yep.
There was a couple other good names. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I think Andrew Luck signed probably a $90 million, $100 million contract. So and the Colts let him keep it.
He's keeping all his money.
Well, I think a lot of the big thing with that was that if he ever did want to come back, they did that for him, so where he would be, maybe in their arms still that they didn't take the 20-something mil back that they were owed. So I think it's still gonna continue to be that way. I mean, Gronk's beat up every year. It's just a physical sport where you can't go in and do it every week in and week out. Then, you're when you're in your 40s and you're having back problems. And I think there's a line between being set and just keep risking your body after a while.
Yeah, I think you want to be healthy after the NFL and enjoy your life, of course. I just feel like there'll be a lot more players be more comfortable to come out
Yeah,
Youth-
without
especially
playing
after,
and
yeah.
retiring and just worrying about their health.
Especially after having two big names like Luck and Gronk coming out. They're both kind of in their prime. They're both very established around the NFL. To have them kind of just pack their bags and retire, I think will kind of lead the way more to guys doing that because they're like, well,
Yeah, they
it was
won't be as
Gronk.
worried as much.
Yeah. I mean, Gronk said he couldn't even enjoy the Super Bowl win last year because he was in bed crying after the game. He
Yeah.
was in so
That's
much
bullshit.
pain.
He was out partying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Oh, of course. He was advertising all the CBD stuff, and
Yeah.
he said he was on it, and he said it's made him feel a whole lot better too.
Well, if you look at, I think Luck was the only quarterback on that list that was because a quarterback
Retired early?
Yeah,
Yeah,
quarterback's a protected position where they're not getting beat up nearly as much as a running back or a tight end is. So my other question was, do you think Andrew Luck will come back to football as a coach? I think he'd probably be a good head coaching opportunity someday.
Oh,
offensive
for sure.
coordinator or something.
Stanford grad. I mean,
maybe
obviously
maybe
very-
not the NFL, but I could see him in college for sure.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely do something with it once he gets his mind right and stuff, his
Yeah.
body physically. I think
Yeah.
you'll definitely see him somewhere.
It'd be nice. I mean, he was a good player, so. Let's talk about this trophy a little bit.
What
Is
is
this your
that?
guys' trophy?
Ain't mine, that's for sure.
So as you guys know, we recorded last week in Cleveland, which is obviously we don't live there, which is a special episode for us. And we were down there for a bocce tournament, and it just so happened that the team I was playing for took second out of 100 teams. So that's what the big trophy is. We would like to talk about bocce a little bit, just if people don't know about it. It's definitely an up and coming sport, and a lot of the younger guys are starting to get into it, and we'd like to get a lot more people into it. We live in Rome, New York, so it's a huge thing here. We were out in Cleveland, Ohio. There's a lot of older teams that play, and the younger guys are just sort of getting into it and following the footsteps all these older guys did. So just a big shout out to Wycliffe INA out in Cleveland for hosting that tournament. Very fun tournament, and we'll definitely be back next year. And Rome host a World Series of bocce, which is roughly 110, 120 teams a year, and everybody in this room plays. So I believe the team Jeff was on, TheRealBar. He played under the Real Bar podcast this year, and they took home 13th, right, Jeff?
Yeah, we tied for 13th, so we finished just in the money. It was by far our best finish yet. So like Bert said, a lot of younger, us, especially our generation's getting into it a little bit more. Like Bert said, I do think more people are going to continue to play as it grows. So to take home 13th in our third tournament as a team was pretty good. So we were excited about it.
Yeah, I know Matt was there. He didn't play all weekend, but he was obviously watching us, watching the championship game. What do you think about everything?
I mean, I had a blast with it. We extended our stay, obviously, a day extra because of your championship run, but I had obviously no problem hanging around for another day. But, I mean, I had a blast. The food was good. Atmosphere was great. It doesn't help that. I mean, obviously, it helps that everyone that I was watching was winning or, close to winning. So, I mean, it was a great time. Can't wait to go back next year.
Yeah, very cool. So if there's any listeners out there, too, that are involved in the game or want to play the game, even if you're not from the area in different states or anything like that, hit us up because it'd be cool to jump into your area, come out there and play, anything like that. We're always interested in getting into tournaments, playing, stuff like that. So just a quick shout-out for the game of bocce. I'm actually in a draft right now, too, so I'm preoccupied with the podcast, but I am going to touch a little on this as I go. I got the 8th pick right now, so we just started up. Any more fantasy news we should talk about?
I have some news that actually occurred this week that's, going to affect your waiver pickups for this coming week if you already drafted or just simple pickups. or guys to target in your draft if you haven't drafted yet, which some leagues haven't. Some news that came out yesterday was Jerick McKinnon in San Fran. That knee flared up again. That's obviously no good after tore his ACL last year. So Matt Breida is one, and Tevin Coleman's the other. Stock rising. I like that committee more, that it is 2 running backs versus 3. So there's 2 guys to keep their eye on. Last week I heaped on Ty Montgomery over in New York. Jets cut Elijah McGuire today. He was their 3. So same situation as the San Fran one. It's more of a 2-man committee between Le'Veon and Montgomery. So another guy I'd say you could pick up stash. Third one, Oakland Raiders, Jalen Richard. Isaiah Crowell hit the IR for the year. Doug Martin got cut a couple days ago, so he's the clear-cut backup behind Josh Jacobs. He had 70 catches last year. PPR league, I think he's a sure start. I mean, I would have no problem putting him out there in my flex. That's a guy I'm going to target to draft. Either my 2 drafts are Saturday and Wednesday, so that's a guy I'll keep my eyes on. If anyone watched preseason action last night, Giants and Patriots, they would have saw Demaryius Thomas and Josh Gordon both playing obviously very well.
And Thomas got a touchdown.
2. He had 2.
Which is good news for his fantasy impact.
They look great with Jarrett Stidham, rookie quarterback out of Auburn. They're going to look even better with Tom Brady back there. So those are 2 guys I'm targeting. And the last one, some news came out today that Ryan Fitzpatrick is the opening day starter for the Dolphins. One guy I got my eye on is Albert Wilson out there. He's competing for the wide receiver 1 spot right now with Devontae Parker. Kenny Stills and Amendola are both gone. Those guys combined for 143 catches last year. So those are some catches that people are going to, have to make up some room for. So put Albert Wilson on your queue on your draft and keep an eye on him.
All right. What about you, Jeff? Any more fantasy info, anything like that?
No, I'll touch on Tevin Coleman is one of the persons that I've had my eye on for a while. He was a good number 2 in Atlanta. He's going to the Niners to be the 1, so I'm curious to see how he'll take the load. But, I mean, with Devontae Freedom's injuries past, so he's had experience as being the number 1 and getting those touches. So I really like him. And then I didn't even notice about I knew the Fitzpatrick news, but the Albert Wilson, that makes sense to me.
He likes to sling it, man.
I'll say Fitzpatrick, that's a big thing. That, I mean, he drops back and he likes to let it rip. So
Oh, yeah.
I think those are 2 good people as well that he touched on.
Beautiful. If you guys were watching the Giants game last night, too, scored a touchdown with 4 seconds left on the clock, so that was another winner for us. Unfortunately, we went 1-2, but that's all right. Stay with us. We're going to win you some money.
But the Bills are 4-0, though.
The what?
The Bills are 4-0 in the preseason.
So are the G-Men.
You just said they were 1-2 or 2.
No, we went 1-2 on the picks.
Oh, so Giants went undefeated.
Yeah, we dropped. Yeah, Giants went undefeated 4-0.
What
We dropped that Niners game last night. Ended like the same way the Giants game did, so we sort of got backdoored there. And then UCLA had their chances, but just never could really get it done. Let's do NFL. I know we wanted to talk about.
Actually, I got a couple fantasy questions I got DM'd in over the course of the week.
Okay.
Let's run through those quick.
Yeah, let's do that.
One question I got, it's a 10-man standard league. Michael Thomas or James Conner? Jeff?
Standard 10-man league, probably Connor. I think he's safe. We touched last week that I think all of us are, pretty heavy on running back first. So, I mean, Connor, he's probably projected in the second-tier running backs. So, I mean, Michael Thomas is an elite wide receiver, but I think you still could get a wide receiver early in the draft in the first round. So, I think I'd go with Connor there.
What are you thinking, Bert?
James Conner all day in a standard.
Yeah, I said
I mean, I love Michael Thomas. If it was a PPR, I would probably be leaning the other way. But in a standard league, the running backs are highly valued, so I'll take Conner all day.
All right, next one we got 12-man PPR league. No draft picks are affected. Devontae Adams or Julio? This is a tough one.
I mean, pick your poison there.
I said the same thing. You can go either way.
It's a coin flip. I mean,
What was it, a standard?
No, 12-man PPR, Devontae Adams or Julio.
I don't
Man,
know.
that's tough.
I still think you just flip a coin.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's one that's got to step on the other. Really, I mean, I'd probably lean Devontae Adams just because maybe Rodgers.
I think I would lean Devontae Adams too. Only that Rodgers aspect.
Yeah,
He's gonna be throwing the ball out this year.
Julio's going to get his touches and his yards, but I think the big thing is, especially in fantasy, is 6 points for a touchdown. So I mean, I think Julio caught 2 or 3 touchdowns last year. So I mean, I don't think you can go wrong either way, but I'd probably lean Adams as well.
All right, next one we got 10-man standard league, no picks effect or anything. Nick Chubb or Joe Mixon?
I'd probably go Mixon. I think Chubb early on has a lot of value. The first 8 weeks without Kareem Hunt there. Mixon sort of scares me with Bernard, but he's sort of fallen off the past couple years, and Mixon's taken over. So I mean, he's right in that running back 1 or 2 tier. The only thing that Chubb, I think he'll be dominant the first 8 weeks, but I think the Browns are going to throw the ball a little bit. So, and then with the big thing with Kareem Hunt coming back week 9 or week 8, whatever the bye week falls, I'd probably lean Mixon there.
I would lean Nick Chubb. I mean, I'm high on Nick Chubb. I got him in almost all my leagues that I've drafted so far. I've drafted like 2 leagues, and he's also a keeper in one of my leagues that I'm drafting this weekend. So I like him. The Kareem Hunt factory doesn't scare me at all because it's going to be Chubb's backfield, and I don't see Hunt being successful in Cleveland like he would be in Kansas City.
I'm leaning towards I think Nick Chubb too. I think he's just going to establish himself in that offense. He's got all those weapons around him. You can't really pack the box because Juice and Odell are going to hurt you. So
yeah, it's just a dangerous offense.
Run wild there. All right, last one here was 12-man PPR. This was a tough one for me. Damian Williams or a guy like Devontae Freeman, who I am high on this year.
What was it for Damian Williams?
Yeah, 12-man PPR.
As a keeper, or we're just
draft.
Keeper.
Just drafting.
Keeper, yeah.
I'd probably lean at. I like Freeman a lot this year too. I mean, he doesn't have Coleman behind him on 3rd down. Coleman, they usually put him in there for receiving down, so I think he's going to get a lot more catches, a lot more bigger workload that Coleman's not there. And Damian Williams, I mean, you haven't seen much of him. I mean, he played the last couple of weeks last year, and he was probably 1 or 2 running back for the last couple of weeks. I mean, the Chiefs' offense is so explosive that, I mean, he's going to get his touches. He's going to have some space. But I think Freeman might be a little safer, so I might lean Freeman there.
Yeah, I think I would lean Freeman too, just because Damian Williams obviously doesn't have the experience he does, and I mean both teams are going to score the ball. Don't get me wrong, but Devonta Freeman, he's like a veteran in this league now, and with Tevin Coleman gone, obviously it definitely raises his value. Good on the questions. We covered all of them.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. Again, you got any questions? DM them in. We'll talk about them on the show and give you a little analysis on what we're thinking.
All right. Let's do our NFL rankings. I know we wanted to break down sort of each conference and division. So you want to start in the AFC or the NFC?
We'll do AFC.
All right.
All right. We'll start off with the East. Obviously, everyone's got New England as their winner.
Yeah, of course.
That's a shoo-in.
You think the Jets could cause some trouble though? With Darnold here for the 2nd year, I think he has a bigger year. Obviously, he's got a full year under his belt. I think they can make a little noise.
Maybe it'll be close for, till week 9 or 10, and then I see it being a one-man race after that.
What about a wild card spot for those guys?
Jets, I could see
possibly.
That. Yeah.
I'm not too high on the Jets. A lot of people are high on the Jets. I mean, Darnold hasn't. I mean, you hadn't seen him make that turn yet. I mean, people are expecting him to do it this year. With the addition of Le'Veon Bell, that helps a lot. But it's still the Jets.
You think?
Yeah.
You think Darnold will be a little more?
I like the Bills.
He'll be a little more
the
confident.
Too.
You think Darnold will be a little more confident with Bell in the backfield, though?
Yeah, I mean, how could you not? You're handing the ball off to Le'Veon Bell. So I think it takes a lot of pressure off. I mean, if they're smart, they're gonna run Le'Veon probably 20, 25 times a game. If they're smart, I mean, it gives Darnold a little more as a stretch. So I mean, it'll allow him to, especially even Bell out of the backfield. A little safety net there. So yeah, I think it definitely helps But I mean,
Yeah.
I think the Jets. I mean, if they go 9-7, I think that's a really good year. I mean, 9-7 borderline playoffs maybe.
Yeah.
I see him more.
Comes down to the last
8-8
week.
maybe.
Better than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, we'll do the North.
Let's go to the North.
All right, start off the Ravens.
You got the Ravens?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I took the Browns just because. I mean, they haven't done it, but I mean, if this is going to be the year, it's this year. So I think they got a lot of high expectations, and I think that the players they got and the attitudes that the players have, I think they're really going to rally, and I think they'll. If they don't win the division, I think they'll make the playoffs at least. So. I'm on the Browns in that division. I like the Ravens too a little bit. I mean, their defense. The defense is really. If Lamar Jackson can make enough plays to keep them in the game with that defense, then they'll be tough too.
Yeah, that defense is always good. I'm gonna lean Ravens too. With the Browns, there's so much star power there. I don't know how that's gonna work in the locker room and on the field. You know, one player blows up, sort of sends a bad energy to some of the players. You got Baker, Juice, Odell. Not saying that Chubb's like any kind of, he doesn't really express his feelings on the field like a lot of those guys do. But it's just so much star power there. With the Ravens, I like Lamar Jackson. I think he actually has a pretty big year with his legs. He's going to be running a lot. I liked what he saw in preseason too. He's throwing the ball well. He's been pretty accurate. So I'm going to go Ravens too.
I mean, we didn't even talk about the Steelers, and they probably won it the last 4 out of the last 5 years, maybe.
I wouldn't sleep on the Steelers either.
Yeah, I'm definitely not sleeping on them. I mean, Big Men's still gonna. I think they'll still be a good team, but I mean, I think it's a 3-team race there. I mean, I think anyone has a chance.
Well, the Bengals sure as hell aren't.
Bengals are out. Dalton,
so the
terrible.
Bengals might not win 5 games in that division. They're playing them 6 times. I mean, I think that's.
Yeah, it is definitely a 3-team race, so it'll be real exciting watching that division come down to the end of the year.
Each team's to win the division.
Probably pretty close. You think the Browns are the favorite?
I'd probably just say the Vegas favorite. Yeah, I mean.
Vegas favorite. The Steelers might be number 2.
Can we get a stat check over here, people? Husey got us.
Odds to win AFC North. Odds to win AFC North. We'll get that checked on. Let's go to the next.
To the South. I had the Colts here until, the big retirement. But I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh.
The defense has been lights out the last, 4 years now? 3 years now? And they're one play away from making the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So defense, it's almost the same unit as it was a year or two ago. And, they made it that far with Blake Bortles. So, Nick Foles has proved that he can get it done, can win the big game. You got Fournette to hand the ball off to. I mean,
I'm a big Nick Foles fan.
Yeah,
I like obviously what I've seen
the Jags
from him.
in the South.
You like Big Dick Nick?
Yeah.
My man.
I had the Colts as well prior to the news. After that, I went with the Texans. I think their offense, with Watson and the weapons he's got. I mean, with Lamar Miller, I don't think they fall off too hard. I think Duke Johnson, that comes out to be a great trade. Now that played out that way. So I think Duke Johnson's a capable back. So I think he'll be all right. And then with Hopkins and Will Fuller and Kiki Cody, whatever.
Yeah.
I think they got some weapons on the outside and their defense. I mean, with J.J. Watt and the team they got, I think they got a real good shot at winning that league, or that division. I mean.
Yeah, I like Houston too. I like everything Jeff just said. It's just they got so much firepower on offense. They'll be winning most of their games. So.
Yeah, I'm more confident in the Houston offense than the Jags, so that's why I think I lean Houston. I think the Jags defense is better, but I think Houston's more than capable to stick around. So I like their offense there. So I like the Texans.
I'm gonna hit up real quick. I got a question. In the middle of this draft, I've already drafted Pat Mahomes, Kerryon Johnson, and Travis Kelce. It's a 2 QB league, standard league. So 2 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, tight end, and 2 flex. I'm on the clock right now, minute left. And we got Keenan Allen, Brandon Cooks, Zach Ertz, Chris Carson, Sonny Michel, Damian Williams. What do you think? Running back right now?
Damian Williams.
No PPR, standard.
I'm still taking him.
I took Patty Mahomes first, so since it's a double QB league.
I like the combo of Mahomes and Williams, but I like Keenan Allen.
I think you need a running back right now.
Yeah, I got Kerryon Johnson, which I drafted in the 3rd. So
Sony Michelle's
I
got
think I
some
need a
good
running back right now.
three-team
I like
running
Damien.
back out
If not, Keenan Allen.
the only thing is I already got Patrick Mahomes and Kels.
Oh, you don't want 3 guys in the same
3
system?
guys in the same week.
there. I still like
So
I like
that-
Keenan Allen. I think that's
But I did like stacking
How long till you pick
Kels and
again?
Mahomes. I'm up right now. And
then-
I got like maybe 10, 12 picks till I'm up again.
I'd
Chris
go-
Carson?
I go
I
Keenan.
like Chris Carson a lot too.
I'm
actually.
high on him too.
All right, we're going Carson.
All right.
I
There it
like
is.
that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what do you got?
Browns plus 120. Steelers 185. 300. Yeah, you're right.
Ooh.
You said you figured the Steelers were gonna be 2. So we got
So the Ravens, I mean,
Bengals
if we
1600.
got 2 guys that are like the Ravens. The Ravens could be a good season bet if you want them to win the division.
some good value
I'll
there.
say that's not bad.
Very
there.
good value. Splash a little money on them, and you could get rewarded at the end of the season.
So you got Carson.
Yeah, I picked Carson.
So last in the AFC is the West. We all got the Chiefs.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think
Consensus.
That's an easy one.
I think-
I don't think the Chargers can do what they did last year. I think they'll be, maybe
Especially
game
with
lower.
you don't know what Melvin Gordon's doing. Derwin
Yeah, I
James is
think-
out
yeah, I
for a
mean,
couple
yeah.
months.
I think the Broncos with Flacco. I think they'll take a little step forward, but I still don't think that's the answer there. But I think it's Chiefs division to lose.
Yeah, Broncos. Yeah, Chiefs division to lose for sure. Wild card spots for the AFC. I think we got the Steelers up in there,
Chargers
the Chargers,
and the Buffalo Bills.
the Bills, and the Jets. I think
So whoever does
those 4 teams,
the
and
AFC
then
South too. I mean, between the Jags
and then
Texans,
obviously
I
you
think
could
they'll be-
throw in the Browns or the Ravens in there too. I mean, you could have 3 teams from that division
Yeah.
make the playoffs.
Usually, how the NFC South is every year with Carolina, Atlanta, and New Orleans, they almost take up 3 spots a year too.
All right, let's jump to the NFC.
We'll go with the East since your boys are in it.
Yeah, we'll go with the East. I'll start this one off. I'm a big Giants fan. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him win the division. I do think it's a possibility, but it hurts my heart. I think I'd have to roll with the Eagles to win this division. Wentz coming back, if he stays healthy all year, I think it's a very hard offense to defend.
Yeah, I got the Eagles as well. This division's always a toss-up. I feel like you go 9-7 usually wins it. But with the Eagles, yeah, like Bert said, that if Carson Wentz stays healthy, and plus I think people are saying they got one of the best defensive lines in the league. So I mean, they'll get after the quarterback. So I think they're probably the favorite. I mean, especially with Cowboys and Zeke question marks, and then Giants with the whole quarterback and Eli Manning. I think the Eagles are probably a safe bet here.
Yeah, if Zeke ain't there again in the beginning of the season for, I mean, we don't even know how many games yet, but
Well,
it sounds like he's gonna miss at least the first, second, third. Who knows? But if Jerry Jones
What do
wants
you
to offer him,
think? Fantasy guru over here. Do you think that changes Prescott's value with Zeke out there?
Probably goes
At
up
least
a
for a
little bit,
couple
I'd
weeks.
say.
well,
Really?
Pollard's value goes way up if Zeke ain't there, right?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
I think if Prescott, I don't know the numbers, but I would say he's probably a lot worse because he's got to do more when Zeke's
Yeah.
not there. So I think,
Puts a
He
little more
got a higher
pressure.
ceiling, he's going to throw more,
yeah,
but obviously there's going to be more pressure on
I
him.
would say I think there's more probably turnover.
If anything,
value.
I'd like Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup's status if Zeke's out because, they're going to – playmakers are going to need the balls in their hands. So,
Yeah, I agree with that.
I had the Cowboys, actually.
Ooh,
I had them winning the division. I just like that 3-headed monster they have on offense. They're due, I feel like. They're always sticking their head in the playoffs and making some sort of noise, so why not this year?
Yeah, they
They
can't
got
win a
a little
playoff game
defense.
though.
They got the best linebacking core in the NFL, so
Yeah, fuck them.
I actually wanted to do that to see a response out of you. We'll go to the NFC North here. I went with the Minnesota Vikings. I think that defense is going to carry them. Kirk's I'm not going to say he's going to blow up fantasy wise, but I think he's going to play a little bit closer to what his contract is worth. Give him some wins. He's got targets all over the board. I think Dalvin Cook's going to take a little pressure off of him. And it boils down to the defense pretty much. I think they're good enough to get it done.
I went with the Bears here. I think it's just. They won it last year. They're returning pretty much everyone. They didn't lose much. I think Trubisky with another year under his belt might take that step. I mean, they won it with, with him being that defense with Khalil Mack. I think it's a three. I think this is another division that's like the Steelers.
Absolutely.
I think with the three teams at the top with the Packers with Aaron Rodgers, you can never count them out. I mean, they've been weaker of late with their defense, and they've had some issues. But I think they would probably be the third team, maybe. But I like the Vikings, but I'm not sold on Kirk Cousins after last year.
He can't win a big game.
Yeah, so
He hasn't won a Monday night game in his life.
Yeah,
did you see his record? Did you see his record against like
Monday.
winning
I think it's
teams or-
prime time.
Prime time?
I think Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. You just can't fucking win in a primetime game.
Yeah, so I like the Bears.
So if the Vikes are freaking favored in a primetime game, fade them all year.
What's your pick?
The Bears.
Bears?
I like Trubisky year 2. He's gonna grow a lot in that offense, and the defense obviously is awesome. You got Khalil Mack causing ruckus in the offensive backfield, so put a lot of pressure on offenses.
All right, we'll go to the West here. Rams across the board?
Well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You like the Seahawks?
I like the Hawks. I like Russ.
Yeah. Their defense ain't what it used to be, and with the Rams and that offense, I just
Yeah, of course. I mean, it ain't what it used to be, but it's still a solid defense altogether. It's not nobody that just
They were
bat
my
your eyes
starting
to.
defense in fantasy last year in our league that I won.
Who?
Seahawks. I started them week 17 or whatever. Had them down to the wire, so, I mean,
Do we got any Rams fans in here?
yeah, we got one.
yes, sir.
What happened in the Super Bowl last year?
Oh. Just wait till this year.
All right. On to the next.
Yeah, the South. It's Saints, obviously.
We got one Saints fan in here too. Obviously, Matt's a Saints fan.
Honestly, this was tough for me. I like Atlanta bouncing back this year. To be honest, I hate them. I hate their guts. But the only thing that's held them back last year, and obviously their Super Bowl run the year before that, was the defense. Deion Jones got hurt, missed a whole year last year. Keanu Neal got hurt, missed a whole year last year. They were just getting blown out. I mean, Matt Ryan and Julio were still putting up 30-something a game, and they couldn't stop nobody. So, they got those guys back on defense. They'll compete for a wild card spot. They ain't winning the division, but they'll compete.
I think you did a good job there. That Atlanta had injury bug all year.
All year. Whole defense,
between
everybody.
Freeman even, and then that defense that you just touched on. So yeah, I think this year, I think a lot of people are higher on them, but I still like the Saints with that team, with that offense. I mean, it's tough to score with them.
Yeah, you got Breeze, Kamara, and Michael Thomas.
Yeah, so I got the Saints in this, but I think the Panthers, if Cam Newton's healthy, I mean, with McCaffrey and him, and their defense is usually pretty solid. So I think, like you touched on earlier, I think it's always a 3-team race here, and I think it probably is going to be this year. I don't see why it would change.
Bert?
Yeah, the Saints are the pick. I don't see anybody dethroning them for number 1. The Falcons obviously the close second, but if they are to stay healthy all year and they don't lose anybody and they can keep on playing, they'll definitely give the Saints the run for their money. And the Panthers, I'm not a big Cam Newton fan, but if he does stay healthy, it's definitely a decent team there. But I got Saints number 1. You guys like David Montgomery?
Yeah. Yeah, why? You need a running back?
Well, I got Kerryon Johnson and Chris Carson.
Who are your wideouts?
I'd like to I only got Travis Kelce, no wideouts right now.
I'd go wideout right now.
It's 2 wide receiver.
But you have 2 flex.
Yeah, but you could go running back too. I mean, who's there for receivers?
Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Goodwin.
I like Diggs.
I like Diggs too.
Goodwin or Godwin?
Godwin, my fault.
People are high in Godwin this year, man.
Yeah, what I've seen out of Winston just is not promising to.
Mike Evans puts up points. Godwin put up points at the end of last year.
We'll give Godwin a try. He's drafted. Godwin.
Took him?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We'll be up in 3 more picks.
They're getting beat by 21, so Jameis is going to sling. So I mean.
Yeah, he'll always be slinging the ball this year, huh?
Fitzpatrick a couple times last year, as spot starts, and they were down and they were slinging. So I mean, another year for the Bucs that are going to be
Okay. I think we touched on NFL. Any more NFL we got to get to?
That's all the fantasy talk I had. I mean, you got a live.
We got a live
question?
fantasy question. What's up?
Mike Thomas versus Mike Evans?
Absolutely,
Mike Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, Michael Thomas all day.
Absolutely.
Why though?
Well, is this a keeper
not?
question or?
You're a guest league here, because Mason was asking me. I told him Mike Evans,
No,
Because you're an idiot.
because that's the number one target.
Michael
Yeah,
Thomas.
so
Michael
Michael
Thomas
Thomas.
is Breeze's number one target.
From the ball.
Yeah, but who does Tampa have in the backfield?
Peyton Barber.
Peyton Barber.
Yeah,
It don't matter. It's Michael Thomas.
Mike Evans gets a lot of catches, a lot of touchdowns.
Michael Thomas broke the record for receptions his first 3 years in the league. Broke the franchise reception record last year. He's the easy one. Well, I'm a Saints fan. I'm just gonna obviously go with Thomas, but he's in everyone's top 5 fantasy wise this year. I haven't seen Mike Evans in the top 5.
I think Mike
anywhere,
Evans is obviously Mike. I mean,
He's as good as his quarterback is. I feel like sometimes. I still like Michael over
still Mike
Tyreek.
Thomas, yeah.
I like Mike Evans, though.
Can't guard Mike. It's his nickname for a reason. Let's get on to the college football, Bert. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do some college football. So let's get into the top 5. I got a top 10 ranking sort of right here. Obviously, I think we can agree upon Alabama and Clemson at number 1 and 2. Obviously, right?
Yeah, you can flip flop them any way you want.
And then I got Georgia in there's 3rd. You like that?
I like Georgia. I think. I mean, with Fromm there,
Jake Fromm.
3rd team. I think. I mean, they're always going to be. It's going to be whether they could beat Bama at the end of the year in the SEC championship game, which is.
It comes down to it every year.
Yeah.
It feels like.
So if Georgia can go unscathed through the regular season and lose to Bama, they'll still probably get in there.
Next, I got Oklahoma at 4. I'm high on Oklahoma. I like them a lot this year. I like the transfer with Jalen Hurts coming. It brings a lot of experience to that offense. Offense is obviously really good under Lincoln Riley. It's a 3rd straight year with a transfer. So Jalen Hurts coming from an Alabama program, which brings a lot of veteran experience to that offense. The only big question mark this year with them is they lost all 4 of their offensive linemen last year. So it's going to have 4 new guys in there this year. I don't think it'll affect Hurts too much, but I still think the offense will be very high-powered. 8 starters back on D. Should see a lot of improvement on defense. Last year they sort of dwindled away. They were decent, but I think that defense improves a lot this year, and they might run the table in that division. So.
I mean, you look at the Big 12. The Big 12 is probably the highest scoring league. So I mean.
Yeah, if Oklahoma.
That's why it's a lot of spread offense, and Oklahoma, so I mean they return 8 guys. I like that.
And I think that it benefits Hurts too because he likes using his legs and he likes throwing the ball too.
Yeah, I think he's gonna put probably a lot better passing numbers than he has at Alabama.
Oh, definitely.
Is CD Lamb? CD Lamb
He's still
still in
there.
Oklahoma? He's the number 1
Yes.
wideout.
Yeah.
Only Hollywood Brown was.
He's
left.
the only one that left.
Yeah, CD Lamb's still there, so he's definitely gonna have a big year.
So yeah, I like them a lot. I think they can really make a push for the college football playoff too. I got to get the book here, and I want to sort of bet them to either make it or win it all, just because I'd like to see an Alabama-Oklahoma championship and Jalen Hurts fucking
Yep.
and give Alabama that shit, take them down. Next, I got Michigan at number 5.
I got their rival, the Buckeyes.
Yeah, you like the Buckeyes? Only reason I got Michigan at number 5 is they face Ohio State at home, Michigan State at home, and Notre Dame at home this year. Jim Harbaugh hasn't been too good on the road over the years. Obviously, Michigan was great last year. The offense was good. The defense was good. There'll be more of an up-tempo offense with the new offensive coordinator this year, so it's going to benefit Shea Patterson. So I think they'll be scoring a lot more, and the defense will hold it down.
I agree with that. I just think with a conference like that, it's going to come down to the title game. It's them or Ohio State, I feel like,
Well, they face Ohio State their last game of the season in Michigan.
They haven't beat Ohio State in 7 years.
I know. I know they haven't beat them in 7 years, but this year might be the year.
Urban Meyer is gone, too. I mean, he had Harbaugh's numbers, so maybe something will switch up here.
Yeah, that'll change the atmosphere a little bit in Ohio State. Not too much, but I do like Michigan. I think they can make a push for the playoff too. It just depends if they can win that last game of the year if they're undefeated at the point.
Yeah, I think the big thing is the numbers of Harbaugh against Ohio State's bad. But I like what he said with Urban Meyer. He ain't there, and they're starting not a true freshman, a redshirt freshman, in Justin Fields. So I mean, there's a lot of question marks in Ohio State where Michigan's got they got their quarterback. Their defense is going to be where it's usually been. So
Yeah, and I got
I
Ohio
think
State next, number 6.
yeah, I think
So I mean, we're
think
touching on
those
both these teams.
Yeah, flipping flopping. So I think I would probably lean Michigan just because of experience with Shea Patterson. He's played a couple years with Harbaugh, and you haven't seen Fields play a season. And I think the big thing is the big factor is I think with Urban Meyer. So I think they're
Yeah,
going
and
to be 1-2.
Fields transferred from Georgia,
Yeah,
and I think that'll allow Ohio State to run the ball a little better than they have maybe the past couple of years too. It brings a little aspect because Fields can run the ball too. You can have a little QB option in that offense this year. After Ohio State, I got Ohio State 6. After, I'm going to go LSU at 7. I like LSU a lot. They got 8 starters back on defense and offense. And some of their biggest games of the year are against Texas and then obviously to Alabama. If they could take both of those games, that would be crazy. It wouldn't knock Bama down from number 1, I don't think. It might make them number 2. But LSU can really get after it this year. The defense will probably be averaging less than 20 points a game. So the defense is going to be big this year.
yeah. I think a lot of people have been talking about LSU that this might be the year for them to make the playoff.
I hope so too because
I like to see something
I've-
different for once.
I've never hated on LSU, and I'd definitely like to see them up there. They're always a good team.
Yeah, I like LSU.
What
I like
about
LSU.
what about UCF? Golden Knights. What's your take on them? They haven't lost a regular season game in the last 100 games or so, right? What was the stat they
I
had?
don't know about
Yeah, I
100,
get it, but who do they
That's a-
play?
They win every game, man.
Yeah, but who do they play? Just like
Do you think they can go
just like I
undefeated
got a
again?
thing against just like I got a thing against Bama is like who are they playing all year long? I know they play in the SEC. It's the best conference in college football, but look at their schedule in the beginning of the year.
To play.
They don't
They're
play
already
it.
playing in the toughest conference in the league.
Yeah, but their first 5-6 games are just garbage games pretty
Everybody
much.
plays cupcake games.
Yeah, not like them.
Well, because they play they play Georgia, they play LSU. You just named 2 of them or 3 of them in your top 7 teams
Yeah.
from the SEC. So I mean, they're playing those during the regular season regardless. So I mean, you put those 2 games on your schedule, it's better than probably 95% of people who other teams are playing. So I think
I guess so.
They have to go out
And then next at number 8, I got Utah. I like Utah a
win
lot
last
this year.
night?
Oh yeah, big win for them last night. I feel like they'll be throttling teams like that all year long. BYU at home, that's actually a pretty tough game because BYU is always winning their home openers. And they're returning seven starters on defense and offense. So if I had one team for a long shot to make the playoff, I think it would be Utah.
My long shot would. It's not really a long shot. I think Texas.
Yeah,
Are
with
they anywhere
Ellinger.
on your top 10? I think with Ellinger back, I think they. It's the same. Like the Big 12 is tough because they don't play defense. So when you play those Alabamas and Clemson, you got to make stops against those 2 quarterbacks. That it's tough for Texas to compete. But that'd be my long shot.
Trevor Lawrence had 2 INTs last night too.
Yeah, Rust.
Yeah, Rust.
No, let's go back to UCF quick. Do you think they can go undefeated and miss the playoff again?
If they do go undefeated, I think they do miss the playoff again.
I think
There's so many better teams than them in all of college football.
I would say they probably
Like-
miss it. I don't know what their schedule looks like. I know they're trying to make it a little. I mean, they're playing. They're going
tougher.
out and playing those non-conference games.
Put them in the SEC or the Big 10, Big 12. See what happens. If they want to go to a different conference, I'm sure they can make the change and go there.
Yeah, I think
Even the Pac-12, which the
Stinks.
Pac-12 they give a lot of teams run for their money because I don't think the Pac-12 is very strong either.
No, they're always.
I mean,
The Pac-12 always has that one team, and then they go play somebody, in a bowl game, and they always get demolished.
Yep. Let's wrap it up here. We do have I think a sponsor coming on. We might be hearing from next week. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that we're open to some sponsorships and stuff. So if you want to get your business out there, you want to get your brand, out there with us, we can get you on our social media pages. We can boost you up on our podcast. We'd love to talk about you. We'd love to have you on the podcast to talk with you too. We'll talk about your business. We'll talk sports with you, and pretty much whatever you want. Of course, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. I think we've been pretty proactive. Matt's the Instagram guy, and I've been running Twitter. The picks are out, and picks will be coming probably close to 11 a.m., obviously on Saturday. So check out for those. We got a full slate of college football, and that's a wrap. What do you think, guys?
I'm excited. It's a good second episode, I believe. If you got any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. I think going into next week, I think we're all real excited about the NFL getting started. So I'm looking forward to the next episode for sure.
Yeah, same for me. I think it was a good episode. Keep an eye on the Instagram. As the season is obviously approaching closer and closer, so I'm gonna have pickups and stuff. You see injuries and stuff like this keep occurring, so keep on the lookout. Instagram stories, even just little posts and stuff. I'm gonna try and help you guys out as much as I can.
Yeah, we're always throwing info out there. Even if you can't catch us, you can always catch the Real Bar podcast on their page on Twitter, Facebook. They're very proactive on Instagram, so always post out there. They got a lot of followers. So if you want to send questions to them too, send them into them. They can relay us to us, and we'll get that answered for you. But that's a wrap from us. So we'll see you next week.